Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 11th day of June, 2025. It is Wednesday of the 10th week of the year, the 10th week in Ordinary Time, 3 days past the conclusion of the Easter season. It is also today which we remember St. Barnabas, the memorial of St. Barnabas, who was the companion of Paul throughout much of his missionary journey until they had some kind of falling out and they went separate ways. But Barnabas, again, is known as a holy man, a saintly man, or whatever it is, and he is the one who goes and looks for Saul in Antioch, where he happens to be staying for a while. And it is in the encounter there that both he and Paul begin preaching together. And at Antioch, the members of the Jesus movement begin to be first called Christians at that point in time. It is also, again, the first reading is all about this from Acts. And it talks about basically the Holy Spirit telling the Christian community that that Paul and Barnabas should be, or Saul and Barnabas at this point, should be set apart to be able to begin this great missionary work to spread the gospel. And so hands are laid on them and they are sent out. So this great companion of Paul, I forget exactly why their falling out happened. Sorry about that. But it's unfortunate that they went their separate ways, but together they were able to do great good in basically spreading the gospel. We don't know much else about Barnabas, except again what is mentioned, scantily in the Acts of the Apostles, and then basically all the preaching that they did. What other background that he has is never really clear. But again, the first reading for today, because it is about Barnabas, the day is about Barnabas, and so to remember all of those who sometimes accompany us for however long on this journey of faith, to help to open our hearts and our minds, to the deeper wonders of what it means to be a believer in this world. Something that is not always very easy to do, and something that is not always very easy to embrace, in our lives. Matthew's gospel again continues this edification, this building up of the Christian community, in which again Jesus talks about now what he has come to do, and it is not to abolish but to fulfill, which is again a wonderful accompaniment to having come out of the Easter season and now living continually Easter joy throughout the rest of this year. Again, what does it mean for Christ to do what he did? Well, it wasn't to destroy; it was kind of to make real and true what it is that God intended from the beginning of time, and that is what resurrection does. It fulfills God's promise. Again, that death has no more power over us; that there is nothing to fear; that we can rise up from the midst of our turmoils and our troubles. That we're not just people who are destined to fate, are destined to the whims of others or to the whims of chance or anything like that. That we are people with purpose, that we are people who are gathered together to do great work. And so Jesus talks about this, again, that the law does not pass away, it becomes fulfilled. And in that fulfillment, reaches new heights of wonder and beauty in our lives. For the law just to remain the law as it is, it can really only enslave. It can only really just basically keep us down from where we should be and what we should be about. But for Christ to fulfill it by showing us what it truly means to be in relationship with God, in relationship with each other, and even relationships with our very selves, allows us an insight and a freedom and a wonder about us that nothing else can ever offer to us. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.